record it.
Okay. You ready for me to sign this? I've read it. And...
Yeah, you can sign that one.
Okay.
And I think this is the allegation sheet that I just printed out for you. If you want to keep that on that side, I've got another one here that I'll have you sign, just so we don't get them all mixed up.
So
That's the one I think that I printed out for you a few minutes ago.
okay. So this isn't the one I'm signing?
I have an exact copy here.
Okay. So just this is mine then.
It can't be. I assumed that you were going to mark it up. I know you'd marked up the other one.
Well, I marked this. I was just trying to.
Keep track.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I took some notes so that way I could.
Yeah, that one's yours. I assumed that you were going to mark it up, but that's fine.
Okay.
This is Inspector Kyle Salmon, the inspector conducting the interview, who is also in charge of the investigation. The date is August 24th, 2022, and the time is 10:51 hours. This interview is in reference to Administrative Investigation number 22-IA-27. Present for this interview is Inspector Peter King and Detention Deputy Corey Short. For the record, would you please state and spell your full name?
Corey Short, COREYSHORT.
Do you understand that this interview is being recorded?
Yes.
Do you understand that during the course of this interview there will be no unrecorded conversations concerning this investigation?
Correct.
That being said, if you need to take a break, get some water, use a restroom, whatever, just let me know. The room will stay recorded. You can go do what you need to do. We'll come back. I don't anticipate this taking very long, but just in case you do. Do you have any objections to both inspectors being able to ask questions during the interview?
No.
Prior to this interview, did you have an opportunity to read the allegation sheet?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to read it into the record also. On April 6, 2022, it is alleged that you made statements towards a coworker while working at the Department of the Jail that were unbecoming an employee. It is alleged this incident may constitute harassment. You'll be questioned regarding the below possible violations. There's 4 listed: conduct unbecoming an employee, harassment, sexual and other, unfavorable conduct, relationships. Under complaint and or witness statements, there's 10 listed. There's an IOC dated April 11th from Detention Deputy James Lemon to Captain Jay Beck. And then there are 9 audio recorded interviews: Detention Officer Charles Clemens, Robert Baker, Brian Palmer, former Detention Officer Andrew Fulcher, Detention Deputy Wilderson Burnett, Detention Officer Victor Diaz, Detention Deputy Sean Haberlin, Sergeant Carl Sudbury, and retired Lieutenant Terry Neal. Documentation acquired during the investigation: there are 6 social media screenshots, 17 FC-19, an IOC dated January 15th, 2017, an IOC dated April 4th, 2017, 20-IA-81, VX Ops video from cameras 324, 184, and number 210, a duty post roster from April 6, 22 on Team 2 days, same date for Team 2 nights, and a security operations 12-hour shift assignment February 13, 2022 for a total of 9 under the heading of documentation acquired during the investigation. Is that what you had earlier when you reviewed it?
Yes.
Okay. And I need you to please sign the allegation sheet stating that you have reviewed it. You can look at it if you'd like. H24.
I just wrote it down.
And as asked for a time, we've got 10:54 here. Have you reviewed and signed a copy of the Garrity warning?
Yes.
Do you understand this means that you are compelled to answer all questions truthfully and to the best of your knowledge, and that nothing you say in this administrative proceeding can be used against you in a criminal proceeding?
Correct.
Do you understand the same expectation of confidentiality applies to this interview that is specified in the notice of administrative investigation you signed?
Yes, yes.
In other words, you just can't go talking to anybody about this until it's done
So
and
it's
with.
public record. That's right. Right.
All right, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the information that you are about to provide in this proceeding is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. All right. You were able to view VX Ops video from an incident on April 6th, 2022 in the Department of Jail Golf Zone, mostly in the common area, but also maybe in 3 Golf area.
Yeah, the 3 Golf, the one going in, the one facing out, and the 3G day room that kind of covers some of the common area also. I think it covers the desk, the 3G desk.
And you were able to listen to some recorded interviews from, I think it was 9 employees, current and former.
Yes.
Actually, let me start with this. When were you hired with the Electric Insurance Office?
2006. That's bad.
Month, approximately, early, late in the year.
It's March or April. I always get it wrong. It's either March 4th or April 3rd. I always get the two.
My math shows about 16 to 16 and a half years, based on what you just said. You said 06?
Yeah, it's 06,
Okay.
yeah.
And you have been employed that entire time with ASO?
Yes.
And what positions?
Detention officer, and then I think within a year, detention deputy.
Okay. And, okay, so you reviewed the video, you reviewed the audio. Can you just kind of give me your version of what happened on April 6th?
Yeah, because I took some notes too.
Sure.
I remembered it taking longer than what it actually, I guess in your mind, it's
Sure.
the Matrix or something. Like it's trying to. Lemon walked into the G zone, turned around as soon as he saw me. I'm still facing, like I'm at the 3G desk, still facing in the pod. He said something to the effect of, "I'm not doing this." He didn't make a scene or anything like that. He at no point did Lemon curse, and I'm not accusing him of anything other than just not relieving me. And the only time I yelled was I turned around and yelled at him. I said, "Are you refusing to leave me, or refusing to relieve me?" He didn't say anything, just continued to walk towards back out of Golf Zone. And I got on the radio and called Sierra 2, and I can't remember. I say 1056, but I may have just asked her to. It was Sergeant Flynn was Sierra 2. Either to 56 Golf Zone or to call the extension there. But more than likely probably called because I did see that I picked up the phone shortly after I got on the radio. She called me on the phone and had Diaz, who was assigned this golf escort, relieve me instead. At that point, Lemon, I guess he heard it on the radio, or I don't know what his motivation, but he came back and then kind of walked into the middle and then kind of towards the break room. And I don't know what happened there, but he eventually meandered back to that, I don't know, the cubicle thing that's in the middle, and then went to the side that's closer to the 1 and 2G side, and just kind of posted up on the, there's the opening back of it. He was there.
Kind of where there's like a leaning height type.
Yeah, where we all just kind of lean,
Yeah.
like water cooler kind of, and we just BS there. Sergeant Flynn called. She told me to have Diaz relieve me instead. He walked back in the zone. I gave Diaz the 3G keys. He counted 3 Gs. I gave him the pass on. And I did say, I said it to Diaz, but you know, Diaz is kind of standing there and kind of Lemon is kind of in my field of view. And I told Diaz, I said, he acts like I make the roster. And then as I got up, because I was still sitting in the chair, so as I got up, I just waved to Lemon. Lemon says he's just going to add that to his lawsuit. So as I walk out, I said, look forward to embarrassing you in court. And then I saw Sergeant Sunbury, because I was expecting Sergeant Flynn, because she was here too. But from what I heard in his interview, I guess he comes back and help, or during the time he helped with the inspections. At no time did I call him pussy. I just assumed that Lemon had just kept repeating that. But everybody said, like, there was such an uproar. But when I watched the video, I mean, they almost had me convinced I said it. But at no time did, like, when all this commotion was going on, everybody just kind of was doing their thing, and nobody was, like, whenever an inmate, you know, if something happens, everybody kind of stops and looks. And then when I'm watching the video, none of that happened. So I just kind of think that that was something that Lemon said, and then everybody just kind of remembers it that way. But I never said it because Lemon, if you look through this, Lemon has been doing this. He's upset that, you know, Misty made this allegation, and it was founded not only with her but with numerous other female staff, and he's bitter about it. But
you're referring to something I included in
the
the
thing where he was demoted for the
20-I
sexual harassment thing,
20-I,
which was reported years ago, but they just never wanted to do anything. And when I got pissed off about it, I blew up. But I keep a very measured tone with them, and they actually had us in there. I think the thing says it was a Wednesday, so they had me in there. Let's see, Wednesday. So I was in there because we didn't work the day before, so it would have been Wednesday. I worked, would have been the Sunday, I believe. So that Sunday, he walked in. He did relieve me, but he mumbled something under his breath, and I don't know what it was, but it was an explicit. But it was like they had said that they were going to keep us separate. I didn't really care because I had never done anything to him, but he's just bitter about being demoted, you know, and facing consequences. It doesn't bother me, but it does bother him. But so I kind of anticipated, you know, I didn't really think about it in the day, but then like we got down to the last hour, I was like, fucking that, Lemon's gonna relieve me, you know, like, we gonna bet. And so I specifically, like, if you watch the camera, I did that for that purpose. I was not giving him anything. That's why I know that I didn't call him pussy, despite, you know, several people saying I did. Like the fact that I referred to the lawsuit as chicken shit, I believe the next day when I was talking to Palmer, because I think Palmer was asking, like, what are you talking about the lawsuit? I was like, yeah, I said he's got some kind of chicken shit lawsuit.
So you're saying Palmer's recollection of what he heard?
Yeah,
chicken shit lawsuit, I think is the way he put it.
It was something I said, but it wasn't something I said that day. It was something because he had, like, what do you know, the law, like,
Okay.
I said he's got some kind of chicken shit lawsuit.
And was that conversation in the presence of Detention Deputy Lemon?
No, that was on our shift. It was either the next day or it might have been.
And I think he was the only person I interviewed that had that recollection.
Right, but it was a memory that he had that he is attached to that moment because that's the moment. But Lemon never cursed in that moment, and I'm not accusing him. And he kept a low tone, but it was the thing, like, he got mad when I said to Diaz. I said he acts like I make the roster. And I, you know, maybe I was being a smart ass when I said it, but I was saying it to Diaz. Lemon's in my peripheral. And I said, you know, he acts like I make the roster. And then he made the comment. He's like, oh, that's going, you know, just add that to the lawsuit or something similar to that. And so as I walk out, I wave and I say, I look forward to embarrassing you in court too. And that was it. And then so as I passed Sergeant Sudbury, I either rolled my eyes or shook my head. And I did make the statement that, kind of mumbled under my breath. I did say, I can't believe somebody hasn't slapped the shit out of him by now. So, I mean, I did make that statement. But I didn't make it to Lemon. I didn't make it where you could hear it. We were down there where, the roller cans were.
Roller cans. Oh, the big dumpsters.
Yeah. So, I mean, it wasn't any of that. Okay. But I'm also not accusing any of those guys of lying, but I'm sure they sat there all night in Lemon going, you fucking heard about me, pussy? But that just never happened. All my interactions with him that are forced are very intentional because of this.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can both.
I mean, you can watch the video and you can see that I'm just, hands on, like it's an interrogation, because I know every incident, every interaction I'm going to have with him is going to result in something, maybe not OPS, but he was constantly, Lieutenant Neal was like, what do you know, Lemon has said this, Lemon has said that. I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay. Just want to go back to something you said a couple minutes ago. There was some conversation about a lawsuit. I think we have come to that conclusion, right? You're saying that Detention Deputy Lemon made a comment about the lawsuit first?
Yeah, he was standing there like, because when I made the comment, I said, he acts like I make the roster. And he was just like, well, that's his lawsuit. And I was like, I either said good, or I was like, I look forward to him. I did say, I look forward to embarrassing you in court.
Okay. So that statement that you made,
that
was in reaction to him saying something about the lawsuit?
Yeah, he's the one that brought that up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you aware of the lawsuit?
Oh yeah, he has some kind of an attorney out of Orlando. We showed, because Misty's highly upset because it's just another way of him inflicting that on her. She reported it. They didn't do anything when she reported it initially. She reported it.
You're referring back to like,
this
is like Lieutenant Benjamin Keys.
Yeah, and that's why,
2017 maybe.
Yeah, and it was reported, and they didn't do anything, and then he went and he was training Holmes and Jeremy Holmes, and that's when he made a statement. He's like, you gotta watch what you say around some people, and I believe that shit that happened in G Zone too. He was on our shift at the time, and I was in 3G, and he just like that nodded over there, and I was just sitting there. I was like, I can't even. I was hot. I was like, I can't even believe this motherfucker right now, But I didn't do anything in the moment because I knew that everything I would have done then would have been like I was gonna wear every bit of that discipline. So I didn't, and then the next, went home, slept on it, and I was still mad, and I brought it up, and yeah, I did. I still blew up, but I sat there in the chair even then, and you can look in Sergeant Heron's investigation. I sat there in the chair. They tried to make it like that, and Sergeant Heron, in his investigation, he said he pulled the CCTV system, whatever it's called. He says he pulled that up, and it had no evidentiary value. Well, that's bullshit. I sat in the chair, but because it wasn't damning, he said it had no evidentiary value. But I literally just sat in the chair because of I know what Lemon's going to do. He's going to make something out of nothing, and he's just got a history of doing that. He's always the victim. He doesn't mind going after women and stuff, but he won't come after me.
Want to talk briefly about your relationship with Detention Deputy Lemon. How long have you known him?
We have the same hire date.
Did you guys go to the academy together?
I believe he was already law enforcement certified. I think he worked at APD or something like that. Okay. So he had to go through the academy, and I just went through the mini academy. So I was on the floor first, but we started together, and we worked in the ship. But we were good. But then we were on. I think I've worked all the shifts. I want to say we were on night shift. I believe we were on Team 2 nights together, and one day he just followed me home, and I live in High Springs, and he lives in I'm assuming he still lives in High Springs. But I lived in High Springs at the time. He just fought like, and as I pull in my driveway, I lived in a dead end road, and then I just see his car like just like, cause he had put a bunch of distance between me and him, but then I just see him and I just see him circling, and I'm just like, what the fuck, you know? It was strange. Like,
Do you recall when that was?
I mean, this is probably, we got hired in '06, so I would say it was definitely before 2010, but I don't know.
And until then,
But I thought it was, I thought it was just off, and he's just a little off. But some people, you know, some people like, he seems just a little bit socially different. But that doesn't, you know, I think I'm more outgoing and he's more socially reserved. But I try to interact with everybody, and because I've seen, you know, different people. You know, it's just because they're not the kind of person I probably would have socialized with in high school or whatnot doesn't mean like I try to have like a blend of people that I interact with. I don't have like some people get into their bubble and they have a certain type of friend and you automatically know like what kind of clique, and I don't necessarily do that, but it just became a little too strange.
Okay.
And I couldn't quite put my finger on it, so it was just like,
Yeah, one of the witnesses I talked to believed that you and Detention Deputy Lemon at least previously had a good relationship.
yeah. I would say that.
Would you say that relationship has at some point turned to not good?
Yeah. When
Can
he
you talk to me about that?
when he made sexual advances towards my wife, yeah, that's a fucking deal breaker. So.
All right, and what you're referring to is the investigation.
Well, I mean, there was incidents before that. You know, like people, you know, it's a workplace. People like have made. I've seen coworkers make like inappropriate comments, and then like somebody go like that. You know, female, not even say anything, but they give them like a visual cue, like you've stepped over a line, and then they've apologized. Because I think anybody can go, oh, you know, and that's it. But then there's some people that just keep. And he's one of these people that just keep doing it. You know, you actually have to report this person because he's not one of these that'll stop. You know, you need, some people make a little flirtatious thing, and it is what it is. You know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're married or not. To some people, but once somebody's giving you a cue that they're not. That they know they're not wanting any of that. Like it's time to stop. Yeah. And he's not one to, I don't know, to understand what the cues are or to be accepting of it. Yeah. But
and you've made reference to the investigation, and that is 20-IA-81,
yeah.
Where your wife was a complainant and a victim in that. That's
correct.
That's what you're referring to.
Correct.
And then you're saying there's other incidents that preceded that maybe weren't captured in the investigation,
right.
But they're from.
But even during that investigation, they said it wasn't that it wasn't reported, and if I didn't raise hell and get in trouble in 2017 for it, it's like that. I don't even know that her investigation would have got traction.
Right. And from what you said earlier, it's the activity, the actions by Detention Deputy Lemon that changed your relationship with him at some point. Yes. Okay.
I mean, it like the friendship is just different, and I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on what it. It's just. He's just different. But I will say this: as an employee, he does quality work. I'm not saying anything negative about his work. I've never seen him do anything unethical, immoral, or anything in that. Just in this narrow scope of his life.
Sure. I would say personally, you guys at this point probably don't have a good relationship.
Right. But I would
Can you work with him professionally?
Yeah. And I had no problem with it. But I also know that he's going to do this. That's why when I knew that he was coming in, when you see me on camera, I was looking like that, because I was like this. There's a good chance that this, at a minimum, a supervisor's going to be looking at this video.
And this is something that you realized sitting at your duty post before shift change?
Right, because specifically because of they moved me over there. I want to say that was a Wednesday, so it would have been. I'm guessing a Sunday. If you look at the rosters,
Okay.
it was a Sunday. It might not have been a Sunday, but I want to say it was like the whatever day our shift worked before. I don't know who was over there. I think they might have been either sick or on leave or something. But because 3G was not a spot that I had normally worked, and they just dropped me in there.
Let me ask you a question, and I know hindsight's 20/20. Having that premonition that you were going to be relieved by Detention Deputy Lemon, could you have done anything else to prevent any kind of altercation from happening?
I don't know that I could. I mean, because I can't pick my duty post.
Right.
I mean,
could you have called a supervisor and said, hey, just FYI, I'm under the impression that we don't cross paths, just heads up? Or what do you think?
I mean, I've had supervisors tell me like you don't get to pick your duty posts, and my understanding was there was some eye rolling because we had shortages of male staff and Misty was in G zone, and there was some eye rolling about Misty couldn't be there, and I didn't want to be part of that because I had no problem relieving him or him relieving me.
Okay.
But like I said, he has, and he didn't have any problem relieving her, because when he was a sergeant, Misty, and they were training him. They had him, and Paul McCoy didn't give a shit about taking him over to the restraint closet and having Misty working WPOD, and she was very vocal about it, and nobody gave a shit about it, you know. So it just was. They basically, told her she needed to get over it. So I don't have any, and and like I said, because even in the 2017 thing, he's talking about threatening him, but he even goes on to say, "What are you gonna do? Just run to OPS?" Yeah, that's what the fuck I'm gonna do, because I'm not gonna put my hands on you. I'm not gonna lose my job. Yeah, I'm fucking going to OPS. That's what we're supposed to do.
Okay. I want to go back to April 6th again. Your recollection from something you said earlier, you did not use the word pussy.
No.
Okay.
Like I said, I assumed that it was highly likely he was going to be relieving me, and I was anticipating it, and I already knew that what the deal was going to be.
At least a couple of the witnesses recall you calling him a pussy. Can you talk to me about that?
Yeah, I believe that he said it over and over that he did, and they've recollected that. I think it's just they're recalling the memory of him going. I mean, the first thing, even Sudbury said it, but you see the video, the first thing that Lemon does is run in there, and I'm sure the first thing he did was tell that, because Sudbury's way back there. I'm not yelling, calling him a pussy at that point. And then you have Diaz saying that I yelled the expletive right in the beginning, but Sudbury wasn't there in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's hearing this at different times. So it to me, it just seems like he had just said it and he was upset, and they're hearing it. It's just a tainted memory, and I don't want to accuse anybody of lying, because that's.
And I don't think that anybody intentionally has
right.
lied to me. But would you agree that proximity is important when it comes to recollection or something like that? In other words, whoever's closest to the interaction is going to have a pretty good memory of it.
Right, but also believe that they're giving their statements months after the fact too.
Sure.
And he's been saying it.
One of the witnesses, Detention Officer Clemens, I think he was right there at the 4G desk doing his shift change. He recalled, at one point he said repeatedly called him a pussy, and then I think later in the interview he said maybe 2, maybe 3 times. So, and he recalled it echoing around his own. Do you recall what volume your voice is at?
I was loud when he turned around and walked out. I said, "Are you refusing to relieve me?" That was when my voice was loud. I talk probably louder than some other people. Lemon was not talking. He was talking low. We're not even close to being the same volume. I didn't yell that repeatedly.
Okay.
If you look at everybody's body language, if I'm yelling him at a pussy, why is he just still, doing paperwork? Or why it wasn't nobody turning it? I just believe that's a tainted memory. I don't.
Okay.
I already knew that Lemon was coming there.
Yeah.
I'm not giving Lemon anything. He has, like I said, he has a chicken shit lawsuit, and I'm not giving him anything for that chicken shit lawsuit.
But there was some kind of interaction between the two. I mean, obviously we've established.
The only thing I said that would even have kind of maybe kicked the dust up was when I told Diaz with Lemon standing in the background, he acts like I make the roster. That was the close to as inflammatory as it could possibly get.
Okay. Can you talk about what the inmate volume level, noise level is during shift change in the Gulf Zone?
Usually pretty quiet.
Would you say that based on what your recollection of your volume was, do you think the inmates could have heard any of what was going on there?
I'm sure they could, it's quiet, it carries. I don't know, I'm sure they could hear it. I don't know what the clarity is, but I mean, it carries. So I don't know if again, Lemon was low and, he said very little, so I doubt they would have heard anything. And he did say very little. If they heard anything, it was me. The only thing that I would think that they would heard that probably would have been with any kind of clarity would be, are you refusing to relieve me? I got on the radio for Sierra 2 to call the 2924, the extension there. And then she called me, got on the phone. Diaz, she told me to have Diaz relieve me, which he was already telling me he was going to do that. I was like, hold on, let's wait for Sarge. She tells me to have Escort relieve me. He counts. At the Lemon, I don't know if he was still in the back or if he had came out by then. Because I knew that camera was going to have me covered, based on the bullshit from years ago with Lemon in the same zone. I was like, I'm going to stay right on this camera. So I stayed right there.
I don't want to go too much into depth because I think this is something that Lieutenant Neal already looked into, but do you recognize these at all? And I'm referring to some screenshots that I provided.
Yes, I recognize every one.
Okay. Can you tell me about those at all?
This is one Misty put on there. This.
Okay. And I don't have any context as far as
this one,
what platform it is or who's posting what.
I'm sure this is Facebook. This would be when he got promoted. Let's say October. This would have been like the day or day after he got promoted. This was her.
Be 2020 sometime.
Whenever he got promoted, this was.
I believe that's 2020, and I know Inspector Neal's investigation was 2020, I believe.
And that goes for this one too. I think that probably was, yeah, I put that up there. That's just, I got that off of like a car dealership anti-lemon law kind of. It was just,
Was that the context of it?
I just screenshot it off of a car dealership anti-lemon law thing.
So that's not something you created?
No.
Okay.
No. This was, gosh, this would have been, we bought a house and we've been in our house 5 years. 2016, 2017. This was probably 2016.
Is when that post was made?
Yeah, we were. Well, I was sending pictures to me. There was one. This was one of many. How I was like, I know this. What the only thing that I could pin this date, May 11th. This would have been. I know. This would have been. I was driving around looking at one of the real estate websites, and as I was driving through, I was hitting the houses that were for sale in High Springs, and I was just linking them like that were in the 3-bedroom, 2-bath that we were looking at in our price range. And this is just one of many, and something had just happened. I think this was just after I think Lemon had pushed her in the cell, and I put that in there as like a
Okay.
This was Howard Adams' dumbass. Like I can't even explain how dumb that was. Like just as a lieutenant, you just want to just talk shit about the brand new ball. Like, so I actually went to try to message him, and him and Ray Swallows had me blocked. So I just put this on here, and I didn't identify myself as an employee or anything, and I just put him on there, and I identified myself as a former FOP union representative. I'd like to warn you the possibility of discipline and shit. I think that's what he ultimately ended up was only one of the,
Yeah.
So like.
And like I said, I'm aware that Lieutenant Neal has already looked into
Yeah.
these, so I'm not. I just wanted to get what your context was on them. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just throwing shit on the wall, see what sticks. That's what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Anything else?
Do you think that your interaction with Detention Deputy Lemon on April 6th was courteous?
I mean, I didn't call him pussy. The only thing I regret saying is I wish I wouldn't have said I can't believe somebody hasn't smacked shit out of him by now. But I said that to Sudbury. I guess I said it. I mean, I was kind of saying to myself, I just was frustrated in the moment. But I made it clear that he was not there. I didn't say it to him. It was not. It was about him, no doubt about that. But it wasn't a threat. It was just frustration, like grow the fuck up, man. Like I don't have anything against you. You did what you did. You suffered the consequences of your own actions. I kind of thought he was very fortunate to still have a job at the end of the day. Just grow the fuck up, man. And then it's causing. He talks about emotional distress. I got legal stuff coming to my house saying be sued, and then or send us $40,000 and notarized letters saying that you lied. Now you want me to lie. You want me to get it notarized. Throw my whole career away. And then supposedly we conspired with all these other employees to get you demoted for what? Like, it's just the only thing I can think of is maybe his wife is upset and he's trying to save some kind of face. I can't imagine because there's no logical reason somebody would continue doing this shit.
Okay.
But because of our history and because of his previous allegations, I know I didn't call him pussy. I'm sitting there on video, just measure responses, just like I was. If you pull the video that Sergeant Heron had from 2017, that was of no evidentiary value. It's because it was intended to be that way. Because I knew what was.
You're saying that would have been exculpatory.
Yeah, yeah. Because I sat in the chair because I was not threatening him. I was mad because you had. I don't know who wouldn't be if somebody's sexually harassing a wife, and then it seemed that my opinion was it was more important to make sure that I got dinged for conduct unbecoming to justify not promoting me than it was to do an investigation on somebody that was sexually harassing somebody. So they completely didn't even look into the sexual harassment, which as soon as they did, I mean, they found one allegation after another, I mean.
You're saying multiple victims.
Yeah, yeah. And imagine if that would have been done there and they would have actually been able to contact the nurses that they couldn't even get a hold of. Like the one that...
I think her name was Chastain.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a pattern. It's not a one-off.
Can you describe what you mean when you say a pattern?
You know, anybody can, not to say it would be proper, but anybody can make a mistake once. But once you're doing the same thing, no matter what conduct it is, it seems like that's your behavior. That's not a oops, you know, I made this mistake. That's kind of who you are, you know, whether it's you know, sexual harassment or, you know, you petty theft or whatever it is, you know, habitual liar. It's the nature of that person.
Okay. I think I only have one more question at this point. A few minutes ago you said that you had one statement during that interaction that you, I don't remember if you said regret saying about slapping him. But that was talking to the Sergeant Sudbury.
Right.
You had a chance to watch the video, you had a chance to listen to the recorded interviews. Would you say it's fair from an outside observer looking at the incident that you were quarreling with Detention Deputy Lemon?
I wasn't. I just wanted to hand the keys over, give the pass on, and go about my day. It was he was the one looking for the conflict. I just wanted to be done with the day. I didn't want anything.
Okay.
I wish I had made the statement to him because really that's the only thing. I mean, I'd be willing to take polygraph. I know I didn't say pussy. And it's not one of those things like because I can't remember it, because I know this was forthcoming and I know that I was only going to say I wasn't going to give I wasn't going to give him anything. And it wasn't my intent to give him anything. So.
Okay. Inspector King, can you think of anything?
No, just the comment about the part where you said you wish something to the fact that he would get smacked in the face by somebody or someone had did it. That wasn't anywhere within earshot of him hearing that comment, was it?
No, he was, from the best that I know, he was back in G Zone, and I was through the slider doors up by, you know, I don't know if you know,
I'm not
but
familiar.
there's the roller garbage cans. We're talking.
Garbage cans would be about 40 feet
Yeah.
from
And I
maybe
said,
50.
and I said, I was like, I said, I can't believe somebody had slapped the shit out of me by now, you know. And I didn't say it.
So it's like
I mean,
you
I
were not
said,
having a conversation. You said,
And I didn't even say,
tone, or
and I
was it
wasn't even,
something higher?
and I wasn't even saying it to some, I was just saying it just to myself, but out loud. And I was just like, I can't remember if I shook my head or rolled my eyes. I just couldn't believe that just occurred.
Okay.
Kind of like, and I just was venting.
Gotcha.
you know.
And if I recall correctly, I think the only witness I had that mentioned that was Sergeant Sudbury. I don't think anybody else mentioned
Yeah.
it, and I don't think that was on. The
And I didn't say that I was going to slap the shit out of him.
Yeah.
I said I can't believe somebody
Somebody-
hasn't slapped the shit out of that guy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. I'm just wondering if he was in earshot of that, that's all.
Nah, he didn't complain about him. He complained about everything else. So.
Okay.
But I'm sure he'll be on the next IOC. He says.
To be short, is there anything you'd like to add? I mean, you've had a lot to say. So
I think I've been as candid as I can be. Probably damning, maybe, but it's the truth. So, but like I said, I didn't call him pussy, but I did say that.
You didn't call him pussy, but you did.
I did. As I exited, say I can't believe somebody hasn't slapped the shit out of that guy. And I didn't say lemon. I just said I can't believe somebody hasn't slapped the shit out of that guy by now. So.
Can you continue to work with Detention Deputy Lemon?
I can, yeah. If he'll relieve me, I mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have any further questions, and you don't have anything further to add?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I'm going to end the interview. The time is 11:36. I'm going to stop this. I'm going to get the room stopped.
And can I get a copy of this, or a copy, just
Hold
a.
on one
Hang
second.
on one second.